Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So we got some pretty good news, but it's pretty frustrating for me at the same time. Now, it's on, people, okay? Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, deals being finalized right now. It's probably a done deal. When they push out this kind of information, that pretty much means the deal is complete. It's just a matter of these guys going through the training camp, getting in the ring, barring there aren't any unforeseen issues or circumstances that arise, right? Now, this is the thing. This is the thing. They're saying, I read something that says it's supposed to be super welterweight. Then there's an article saying they're finalizing a junior middleweight fight, right? So I think when you're reading these articles, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. But I'm going to read you something that came out from Mike Coppinger. What he goes on to say is Errol Spence and Keith Thurman finalizing a deal for a PBC fight on a pay-per-view. It's supposed to take place in April, okay? Then he says this right here. Spence holds 3 or 4 major titles at welterweight, but the matchup will take place at junior middleweight. Sources said, right? Junior middleweight? I think he means super welterweight, okay? But I don't know. The WBA president, Gilberto Mendoza, told ESPN that he granted Spence a special permit to fight outside the weight class without relinquishing his 147-pound title. Now, we know Spence also holds the IBF and WBC. Spence will have 60 days from the fight to close a deal for a long-awaited, undisputed welterweight championship bout with Terence Crawford. If not, Spence must defend his 147-pound title against the winner of postponed WBA regular title fight between Virgil Ortiz and Amantis Stanionis. Spence could also decide to campaign at 154 pounds moving forward. Now, understand. Let's break that down real quick. So, bottom line is, they're making sure that Errol Spence, when he fights Thurman, it's a non-title fight. Because, well, you guys, why do you think they're doing it? Of course, because they're trying to force the Crawford-Spence fight. And they know that's where the money is. But in addition to that, I truly believe they know that Keith Thurman is a threat. Why would you allow Errol Spence to go fight Keith Thurman, who's, no kidding, he's a threat? Don't get me wrong. Errol Spence, just based on how things have gone historically, with an active, great fighter and an inactive, great fighter. The active, great fighter, 9 times out of 10, wins the fight. However, there's still 10% chance. Some would give Thurman more than a 10% chance to beat Spence. I give him more than a 10% chance. But there's a sliver of hope there for Keith Thurman and his team that he could come and knock Spence off. And these key decision makers in boxing who want to see Spence and Crawford fight, they know that. And that's why they've come here and jostled around the welterweight a landscape the way they have. Look at all these different eliminators and interim titles and title fights, and look at all the matches that have been that were being made over the last couple of months. On my channel, I've been talking about that, and you got guys like my boy JD Mills. You got a couple other people on here. Every day we're almost talking, right? They're abreast of what's going on as well, and they can see through all of the fluff. They can see through all the smoke and mirrors. Like, it's so easy to peel the layers back. But some people just get caught up in, whatever it is that they're the most interested in. But they're not really looking at what's going on with the welterweight division holistically. So when you look at the fact that Keith Thurman and Errol Spence are fighting, but non-title, well, that does a couple of things. One, it protects their end goal of getting Spence in there with Crawford for undisputed. It checks the box for Thurman to get his shot at Spence, okay? But it also makes sure that Spence isn't, he can go forward knowing he's not giving Thurman a shot at the titles. Remember, that's all Spence thinking. I'll never give him an opportunity to win these titles. Now he doesn't, but you got to fight him. But it doesn't mean that, Spence is going to beat him, but he should. Now, let me tell you something else, right? This is what, man, when I tell you it's crazy, this is what's crazy. These special exemptions that they're making, this is why we talk about boxing politics, and that's why I'm so adamant when I say stop listening to these other content creators. I think we should support everybody. I'm not telling you don't watch people's video. I would never say that. Watch all their videos, like everything they put out. But understand this. None of them know what the hell is going on. Even I don't know, but I try to have an open mind. Only the fly on the wall knows. I've been sitting here, I'm thinking Boots is the next in line because of all the crap going on with Stanionis and his surgery and Virgil Ortiz. The WBA, remember, for those of you who are new to the channel, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. But those who follow the channel, I always say the WBA and WBC, they don't see eye to eye. The WBA does what they want. So the WBA, they were like, okay, hold on. Hold your horses here. You guys want to push this mandatory? You want Thurman to come out here and get a shot? Well, I'll tell you what. We want to make sure that we have Spence going into an undisputed bout with Crawford, so you guys can make your fight with Thurman, but it's got to be a non-title. In addition to that, we get next, not the IBF, not the no one else. We get next, okay? And after, if you guys can't make the Crawford fight, so obviously everyone's in agreement for the undisputed bout, but trust me, it wasn't, what's that saying they used to say, man? Oh, man, I forgot, man. Well, I put it there, everyone wasn't happy. But the WBC kind of got what they want. Keith Thurman kind of got what he want. Errol Spence kind of got what he want. The WBA kind of got what they want. The IBF now, this is what's interesting. So you're like, all right, the WBC, the WBA, they kind of got what they want, right? The WBO is kind of getting what they want because now Spence has 60 days after Thurman to try to make a deal with Crawford. So what about the IBF? Well, check this out. Now we know Boots just fought, right? This is what's just crazy. Boots just fought against the guy, the Ukrainian, right? Karen. I'm not gonna butcher his last name anymore. Now we're thinking that Boots is gonna be next at Spence, right? It's what I've been preaching. This is what a lot of the teammates, we all are thinking along the same lines. Now check this out. This is what's going on. Rashidi Ellis and that guy Villa fought. Villa banged up Rashidi Ellis in the last round, managed to pull out a decision over Rashidi Ellis. Knocked him off the face of the mat. But that was set up as a title eliminator. So that means when Boots was fighting Karen, the Ukrainian, Rashidi Ellis and Villa were fighting. So that means Boots, the winner of Karen and Boots, becomes the champion, and then the winner of Rashidi Ellis and Villa it was a title eliminator, so now they get to challenge the champion. So now Villa, the one who knocked out Rashidi Ellis, and Boots Ennis, they're the ones who have to fight now. Complete madness. Now, I did not know that. But like my boy MD Mills says, he's like, you know what, man, they're making up fake title eliminator bouts just to get the undisputed. And, we've been tracking with that for months and months. And I've been saying this, man. But I'm here thinking Alexis Rocha. So as of right now, we still don't know what's going to happen because Rocha could become the mandatory to Crawford. But again, is the WBO going to be in agreement with what the other three sanctioning bodies are agreeing to, which is allowing the undisputed distinction to go forward? So that's what we're waiting to hear about. So right now we know the way ahead when it comes to Errol Spence, when it comes to Boots Ennis. So shit. When it comes to Errol Spence, when it comes to Boots Ennis, when it comes to the guy Villa, right? We know the way ahead when it comes to Ortiz and Stanionis. We know what everybody has to do. We even know that Terence Crawford is there in the breeze just waiting to see what happens. So whether Spence wins or loses, he still goes into an undisputed bout with Crawford if they can make the deal. They got 60 days to do it. Okay? So this is what's going on, right? Now, a lot of the things that are happening here, some of it, when we did our predictive analysis, we kind of got close. But some of the stuff that happening here, man, that's why I say it's just the fly on the wall knows. And this is a case where the fly on the wall is finally speaking. Absolutely crazy, man. At super middleweight, I think they mean super welterweight, man. But it's written, it got a super welterweight, right? 154. But it's just, I don't even know what to say. But I tell you what, I ain't worried about Spence and Thurman. I think that's a good fight. That's a fight where I really think those early rounds with that damn lateral movement, I think Keith Thurman may have a chance. But I gotta say I think Spence pulls it out. But in them early rounds, I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna be going live. I'm gonna be watching. Y'all may see me get super animated because Keith Thurman was my boy, man. He was my fighter until he went inactive. But Errol Spence, we know that he's no joke. He's a monster. He doesn't like Spence. He doesn't like Thurman. That could be to his detriment. But we don't know that. We'll see because he has Derek James in his corner that's going to make sure he doesn't go out there and do nothing stupid and get caught with anything. So Spence and Thurman, amazing fight. Now, Boots and Villa, don't know. But then again, Villa's not going to, he doesn't have that amazing footwork, and he's not going to, quote unquote, display outstanding ring generalship. In other words, run his ass around the ring, right? So Boots Ennis is going to have someone come to him. Now, two things about that, right? Boots will let his hands go, so he has a better chance of really putting some hurt on Villa. The problem is this. Boots Ennis, even before the Karen Chukhazian fight, right? Boots Ennis will take shots. These are my words. Boots Ennis said he doesn't mind getting hit. He likes to mix it up. Now, I'm telling you, right? You can't be in there liking to get hit. What was that guy's name? Nate Campbell? You remember him, the fighter, I think it's from D.C. or Maryland or whatever, was in the ring fighting, can't remember who, boy, I forgot who he was fighting, but I'm seeing it. Stood there, kept his chin out, and the fight he was winning, got his ass knocked out cold. You just can't be in there accepting punches, all right? And when you look at what Villa did in the last round, I mean, he carries his power to the end. People are calling him, another Marcos Maidana. Hey, can't do it. Don't do it. So I think Boots Ortiz, I'm bugging, right? Boots Ennis and his dad, I'm sure they're drawing up a good game plan because they see how the boxing world, hey, look, your last fight is how people remember you, okay? And that's exactly what's going on. People are remembering him for what he just did. But if he wants to undo that, he's going to have to come up with a fantastic game plan and really put on a good show against this guy Villa. But I'm telling you, so far, those are two good fights that we have coming up. We just have to wait and see how everything else plays out. So now that we know we got those guys off the table, my thing is, okay, what's a Cody Crowley doing? You know what I'm saying? What's Blair Cobb doing? Or Alexis Rocha doing? Hell, what's Rashidi Ellis' next move? These guys who are still out there floating around at 147, what's Butaev doing? So I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen. But as of right now, look, people are thinking that Spence will knock Thurman out, and they think Crawford doesn't want the smoke. I'm going to tell you, and I've always said this, people who are new to the channel, welcome. Listen, Spence and Crawford is the two number ones battling for undisputed. I've always said that. I've heard other channels saying that now. Maybe they came up with that on their own. Maybe they got it from me. I don't know, okay? But I've been saying that shit for like 4 or 5 months. Spence and Crawford, probably 6 months. Spence and Crawford are the two number ones battling for the undisputed distinction. Now, I hope they can make that fight. Now, if they don't make that fight, I don't even know what to say at this point. But if it's on Spence, Al Heyman, I mean, the construct is already kind of there. They had already put together like, the 75% solution. And it's just whatever. Communication broke down at the end. So to me, they don't need to reinvent the wheel. Kind of come and pick up at the 50% solution point, right? And then kind of rehash some things and then move beyond that. Whoever the project sponsor is, they need to be communicating with the project sponsor, when they're having certain issues that are kind of outside of their realm and then a responsibility, and let the project sponsor insert himself in the process to keep things moving along so they can meet the deliverable, make sure they get out on time. And then they can do lessons learned and all that crap. But the deliverable they're looking for is to put that fight between Spence and Crawford together and get it out there within 60 days. And that's what they have to do. And there's a lot of stakeholders invested in that process. And they all need to be on board. There needs to be communication. And the project manager, the guy needs to be there making sure that's moving along every step of the way. But that being said, y'all keep cool. Hey, we got some movement. Things are opening up now. And this is what we need. It's starting to get some structure to the welterweight division. And I guess the sanctioning bodies and key decision makers had to come and kind of shake things up a little bit. Now it's starting to settle, and you can kind of get an idea of what things are going to look like for 2023. Remember, the last couple of months, we had no idea. There were so many decisions being made that didn't make damn sense. But now we're understanding what was going on, okay? At the end of the day, all these BS bouts and stuff that were being made was to put in place, right, a construct to ensure no matter what happened with Spence in the fight with Thurman, because, WBC wasn't budging on that Spence would still hold his titles, and then he would still be able to go into an undisputed distinction with Terence Crawford. That's the word, people. Y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents, in the breeze.